An Indonesian man is waiting to hear if he'll face a jail term for professing his atheism online. West Sumatran civil servant Alexander An was arrested earlier this year for posting on Facebook, quote, "There is no God." Prosecutors in the case have demanded a prison sentence of 3.5 years, and the verdict is expected later on Thursday. Let's get more on this and bring in Endy Bayuni. He's the chief editor from the Jakarta Post. Your newspaper has been covering the story. What do you expect us to hear from that verdict?
Well, I think it's going to be a guilty verdict. We just don't know how many years he will get. And the question is whether the people who had protested for his, against him would also be satisfied with 3.5 years of jail. There have been pressures on the court to give him even a stronger punishment because they're angry at the fact that he was able to declare his atheism and actually use the Facebook to pronounce that God doesn't exist.
Right,
and he was actually engaging with other people in the Facebook.
And seeing that he declared his atheism, he was charged with blasphemy, however. Can you explain that?
Yes, it's not so much that he professed the atheism, but he was engaging in a debate, in an intellectual debate in the Facebook with other people, and then where he challenged those people, those Muslims, to prove that Islam does exist, that God does exist. And this was used in court against him under the blasphemy law, that he was insulting a major religion in Indonesia. And that's the way the law is in Indonesia.
The constitution in Indonesia guarantees freedom of religion. Let me ask you, is it illegal to be an atheist?
Yeah, the Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, but at the same time, the Constitution also requires that every citizen must have a religion. And so therefore, this puts him outside the constitutional protection. I know this is inconsistent, but this is historical, that monotheism, or that the professing in the belief in one God, was inserted in the Constitution during the struggle when Muslims or Islam was fighting against communism back in the 1940s when they drafted the Constitution.
Would you say that there is rising intolerance towards religion in Indonesia, more so now than before?
Yeah, I think by and large most Indonesians are tolerant. I mean, we profess to be moderate Muslims and tolerant. Unfortunately, I think in the last few years there have been radical groups.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that's how Indonesia is often seen from right around the world.
Yes, and we'd like to believe that's still the case. The problem is that it's now that we are extending that tolerance towards the intolerant groups. And they are, these intolerant groups, they are minorities. They don't represent the majority of religions, but somehow they got away. And the Muslim majority, they are tolerating this. I wish they are more outspoken in actually condemning violence and also protecting people with different beliefs, including atheists.
And the government's role here?
That's not happening at the moment yet.
Right, and just briefly, the government's role then?
Yeah, the government is also, the government, the guy in West Sumatra is being prosecuted by the state. So that reflects where the government stands on this issue. But there have also been cases where the government or the state were indifferent towards some of the violence being inflicted against religious minorities. And we are talking about the Ahmadiyya and the Shia and some of the Christians in part of the country.
All right. Endy Bayuni, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for joining us from Jakarta.